Brendan, it's time for NBA course correction. Here we're going to look at some predictions we made. We're going to kind of rapid fire go through some ones we feel like we got wrong. I'll start. I want to put some respect on Tyrese Maxey's name because he has had an amazing start to the year. I think has really filled in pretty amazingly for what James Harden did for them last year. Just had a 50-burger. I think he has just been absolutely incredible for them. A big part of why that team is better than I expected them to be. They've not really taken the step back that I thought they might have, if I'm being honest. I was a little bit lower, I think, on Philly than you by a point of comparison. And I think Maxey's a big reason why. I think Nick Nurse is a reason why, but I've been blown away by Maxey so far this year. He is having a breakout year. He had that 50-burger. Philly's more than fine. Maxey looks really good, and I'm much more in on Philly than I was coming into the start of the year. So kudos to him, kudos to Philly. I was wrong about him.
This one bridges the gap between the two of us, I think, because I was singing the praises of Joel Embiid can lead a good regular season team, and they won't miss Harden in the regular season as much as people think. They could still be the 3 seed again and all that type of stuff. However, I vastly underestimated Tyrese Maxey as well. So this one works for both of us. I think right now the Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid empty side pick and roll might be the most fun two-man action in basketball. I mean, partially that's the case because Jamal Murray is sidelined with a hamstring injury, so the Jokic-Murray thing is not at full force, but it just feels like there's so many options on the table when those two are running a pick and roll right now that just weren't there with Harden, because when you can get to the basket in the blink of an eye and you have the springiest, craziest step back 3 game that is happening in the NBA like Tyrese Maxey does, it just opens up a world of possibilities. And, Joel Embiid's making quicker decisions and they're just playing faster, more tempo basketball in the half court and in transition overall. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, both of us get the L there. I want to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Just one last Maxey thing. Did you see the Sixers gave Maxey 50 Chick-fil-A nuggets to celebrate his 50-point game?
Inspired by Giannis getting Chick-fil-A the day after the title.
All-time Instagram live, by the way, is Giannis going through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Like, really just a moment of pure. Could have used Jokic watching horse races, but I don't think Jokic is an Instagram live guy.
I don't know if they do Instagram out there. Just I think it exists. I think they just opt out. They're just smarter than all of us. They just they don't want to deal with it.
Sure. All right, what's your first one?
Oklahoma City Thunder. 2 things in particular that I got wrong in terms of the direction of the trajectories of 2 different players.
Okay.
I might have been out in front of my skis a wee bit on Jalen Williams. I'm coming at this from the standpoint of that he actually on Sunday night when I saw them scored 27 points on good efficiency, did his best SGA impression, getting to the midi pull-up and just raining buckets on the undersized, can't score in the fourth quarter Phoenix Suns. But I believe I had the take that Jalen Williams could be better than Shea. I said that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm at that point.
Brennan,
I might need to be talked down, but I fucking love the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, I'm not wrong about the Thunder, and I'm not backing down on my love. I want to make that clear. I just have 2 players who I'm highlighting, but read me for filth. Make fun of me. I went too far.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm a very Midwest, I am not a confrontation on podcast person, probably to the sake of lack of enjoyment. When you said, I distinctly have this moment in my head that I've never thought you were more fucking insane than when you were like,
I posed it as a question, to be fair. I let you go first, and then I was like, I could see it. So I backed off. I let you take the bullet.
It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
Yeah. If Shea ever heard that, I mean, I'm sure he loves J-Dub very deeply, and they're growing together as friends and teammates, but he would probably, refuse to ever speak to me for the rest of the time. Could you be better than a first-team All-NBA, top 5 MVP candidate guy? I just want to remind people he's still, in his early 20s. So I went a little crazy. Also got wrong that I think when we talked about Oklahoma City, you're higher on Giddey than me for sure, but I also I think the part that I was wrong on is that he was maybe hitting some sort of ceiling. First of all, that's unfair because he's so young, and I probably should have just left more room open to, things that are unforeseen. I think with young players, I'm like, this is what they are. What can that turn into? And I forget, like, they can add new stuff we've never thought of before, and that'll make us all change our mind. But I highlighted it last week, the two-man game with Chet, different things that he's been able to do, and the dynamic he's creating with Shea. So I was wrong that Giddey is sort of stocked down or plateauing in some way, shape, or form. So the Thunder are where I thought they would be, but the direction of each of those two guys, I definitely missed on.
Thunder, our sweet child.
They like systematically dismantled the Suns in the fourth quarter on Sunday, Chris, and I was just sitting there like, don't smile, you're not supposed to cheer in the press box, period, but you're certainly not expected to do it for the road team who is spanking the favorite at home. So I had to try my best, but that team is the best thing in basketball.
So this is a good transition because the Thunder are part of the reason why I feel this way, because they have absolutely, once they came back from 10 down, but then in Oklahoma City they just dismantled the team pretty impressively. I just don't think the Cavs are as good as I thought they would be. Something feels off. Something feels really weird here. They are not performing. They were not particularly sharp. I think their three-point defense has been a real problem in a lot of different ways. I don't think Evan Mobley has taken the offensive step they've needed. Darius Garland is turning the ball over a lot more than you would expect out of someone who I think of highly of as I think of Darius Garland. Mitchell has had some big moments. I think Strus has unlocked some things for them. There are positives, and they've beaten the Warriors twice. But something just doesn't quite feel right. The numbers paint a picture of a team that just isn't very good right now. I thought Cleveland was going to come in and pretty much just pick up where they left off the regular season last year, and this regular season would be a lot of incorporating Strus, incorporating Niang, evolving a little bit. Mobley takes a leap, and they would be better off. And so far, they've been pretty blah, if I'm being honest.
What are the first coach fired odds for JB?
Well, so you say that, and I think that Brian Windhorst does like a regular appearance on ESPN Cleveland, and he's like, if they're under 520 games, there's going to be warmth on his seat. And I'm like, okay, so like is that like
perpetually like they should call? This sounds like way meaner than I mean it to, because I actually mean it as I feel bad for him. His nickname should be Hot Seat. Like, this dude has just gone through it in the NBA, and it does suck because he overperformed expectations last year. But how quickly you said they didn't
in the year before.
Yeah,
in the year
you
before.
said that they didn't pick up, or they didn't, pick up where they left off from the regular season. They kind of are picking up from where they left off in the playoffs in terms of just when odd vibes and strange types of mistakes and problems that feel fixable that can't seem to be fixed.
When Karis LeVert is like your Band-Aid on a lot of things, I think that means your season's in a weird position.
You know what? One good thing that Cleveland has done recently, aside from beating the Warriors, they gave Mike Brown and Jordi Fernandez excellent tape for how to execute the Kings offense. Just run it like this, guys.
Just future Cleveland Cavaliers head coach Jordi Fernandez?
Get that ball whirling. Let's get Kevin some shots. Let's get De'Aaron downhill. Let's get everybody above 20 points and just
the warmest
save that
file. Here's the last thing I'll say about this, because I think there's like an episode to be done on Mobley in that draft class. I keep saying this, but I think there's like when we're gonna have a State of the East pod next week with Brad Rowland, and Cleveland I think should come up in that conversation just as like a what the fuck is going on here. For a team that has like two really good guards, I don't understand how they're getting like mystified by traps as much as they are. If you watch them get trapped, it's like, what? Like, I don't understand the mistakes that are getting made on traps. What's one more you have, Brennan?
Quickly, one that doesn't need to be talked about too much, but I took the under on Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I just regret it because I was actually high on the Wolves, but I just felt like the number...
You're the internet's number one Rudy Gobert guy. Viva la Gobert, yeah.
The number just felt high. I didn't believe that the offense could be good enough, but I didn't foresee the defense being this great. And we did talk about if Anthony Edwards just took sort of the leap, capital T, capital L, that this could turn around and just exceed expectations. So, but I don't know why I was optimistic about a team and took the under. That just feels stupid. I have one that's just young forward breakouts. Another player, not Jalen Williams. I don't think I hyped anybody up quite as much as I hyped him up in the preview series. But Patrick Williams, I think I still feel very solid about him. And I think if you're talking about a Chicago teardown, I would be really trying to get my hands on him if at all possible, because his athleticism and defensive impact is just real. I mean, there's not any way around that. And if you can put him in a better environment, I think you could be good. But I had Patrick Williams and KJ Martin, who I was just riding as breakout guys, and neither one of them has done much of anything. KJ Martin's not even playing for the Sixers. Maybe that changes with Kelly Oubre. But the last real one that I have with Kelly Oubre, unfortunately, hit by a car and dealing with that, and I covered Kelly and love him very deeply as a human being, so that I didn't want to just gloss over all that. It is serious.
Look, I mean, we just need to make this country safer for people walking and riding bikes and doing things not in car vehicles, but that's welcome to the war on cars, NBA fans.
All right, the last real one that I have is Brandon Miller. Hate. And this goes back to June.
Yeah.
He's not killing it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, let's get the Rookie of the Year campaign started. But he's had to step in and start for them, and their record's not great. It's the Hornets. They're pretending like nothing's going on with Miles Bridges, and they are dealing with the annual 1 month in Gordon Hayward injury, and they're 3-6, 27th net rating in the NBA. But Brandon Miller stepping in and just playing like he belongs, shooting like 55% from two. I think he has like a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Those are all just indicators that if the point with him was sort of ready-made, high-level role player at least, he's making good on that promise. So maybe the laughing at Charlotte and all that, there's a million reasons to laugh at the Charlotte Hornets. But that pick, his talent, I'm willing to take the L.
Last one for me, again, tease for next week. I just think I undersold or undervalued what the Atlanta Hawks could be. I think they are better than I thought. I think the numbers back it up. I think that offense is absolutely cooking. I think that team is absolutely cooking, and I think that team is a much more realistic threat for a better seed in the East than I expected, particularly with some of the struggles of other teams. But I think that team is just dynamic. I think Quinn Snyder's doing a bang-up job. I think Trey is playing really good basketball. I'm just really, really excited about the Atlanta Hawks at this point in time.
So we all, you, me, and Brad, were unanimously correct on Jalen Johnson being probably the best forward between Bey, Hunter, and him. Mm-hmm. He's starting already. Bey is on the bench. They didn't extend Bey. Massive W for the Atlanta Hawks preview on the Just Basketball show. But you were pretty high on them, I thought.
But I just am now
We all
higher.
Took the over.
I'm just higher now. I'm just like, this offense is one of the best in the league, and I thought it was going to be good, and I love Quinn Snyder, but I just think I think their ceiling's higher than I thought. I think this team is, I don't know if, I just think this team may have jumped up above like some of the other teams in the East. I think right now, if I'm looking at the East, it's like, I think Philly and Boston and the Bucks are still the teams in the day I think probably are going to be the top three. Who's to say Atlanta can't be like the fourth best team in the East at season's end?
Sure.
Or third best team if it's the right matchup.
Especially if Cleveland's trending down and the Knicks, they're getting the bad Randall season after the good Randall season and all that stuff. I think it could happen. Two things. You're the need to see it king. I'll be the prince for today. And I'll say I need to see the Trey operating at least in part off ball for more than a month. Because it happened for about a month last year, even before Quinn got there. And it did not last. And the offense has another gear, and that's part of how they can get to it. But this was always going to come down to the defense. So I want to see where they end up there, and do they have a little more in them defensively? With Murray now, with Jalen Johnson, different personnel, can they reach another level defensively and actually, challenge Boston, Philly, or Milwaukee in a second, third round type of series? I think that it's not like the most crazy thing to imagine, but they're not there yet.